Welcome back to the Higher Form Podcast. We're here every week having real conversations with leaders, coaches, and everyday people about what it takes to become your best. We know life will test you, and we're here to share practical tips, tools, and relatable stories to help you build the highest form of your life. This week, we have another Avexia coach joining us for a get-to-know-you interview. Welcome to the show, Coach Bert Ernst. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited to chat. I feel like there's a lot of good stuff to dive into. You have a pretty extensive background, so we should come up with plenty of things to keep us busy today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, let's just kind of start with, where you're from and how fitness got into your life, and I'll let you just kick it off from there, man.
Yeah. I kind of grew up all over the place. My dad was in the Navy growing up, so I was born in Beaufort, South Carolina, and then my family moved from South Carolina to Maryland to Texas to Tennessee, and then finally settled in Missouri. My parents grew up in north central Missouri.
Okay.
So my dad decided after a 26-year career in the Navy, pack it up and move back home, or as close to home as possible for them. I grew up in a small town called Savannah, Missouri.
Okay.
Population of about 4,000 people.
Yeah.
I lived there for about 10 years after my dad retired. Graduated high school from there, played sports, and then moved around a bunch later on in my career.
Yeah.
So we can get into that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, let's start with just the fitness side of things. I know that you were a college athlete in both soccer and basketball.
Yep.
How did you get into fitness and sport? Like, do you grow up playing a bunch of sports? Like, how did that all transpire?
Yeah. We had 5 kids in my family, so my mom kept us busy by getting us involved.
Where are you at in the 5?
I am 4 out of 5.
Okay.
So I have 2 older brothers, an older sister, and a younger sister.
Okay.
So, and we're all very diverse, like tons of different backgrounds. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's always funny how that works.
yeah,
Right?
I kind of have my own niche of like sports and athletics, and
Yeah.
my little sister's in med school, or she's in residency now. My older sister's an author. She just published her first book.
That's cool.
Just super cool. My younger older brother, he's a Cobra pilot in the Marine Corps. And then my oldest brother has his own podcast, essentially plays video games for a living.
Okay.
And actually does pretty good at it too, makes a decent living off of it. So
That's awesome,
yeah,
man. So he's like streaming and everything too?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, his podcast is called the Stinky Dragon. It's a lot of like Dungeons and Dragons based stuff.
That's so crazy how, because Brittany's family's this way too.
Okay.
She's one of 3, and they're completely different, all 3 of them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just wild to think about how
crazy.
they can all come from the same 2 parents, the same genetics, and everybody just goes down their own unique
Just find
paths.
their own path. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
So you started playing sports when?
Man, growing up, I guess competitively, not really until like late middle school, early high school.
Okay.
We just didn't really have the means to travel and do like the full competitive travel team. I had a bunch of buddies that were playing like travel soccer and playing like very competitively, where I was still playing in rec leagues, just playing with my buddies and having fun.
Yeah.
So not really until like high school sports started. I didn't really get competitive until then.
Okay.
So
And you played what in high school?
I played soccer, basketball, and track. Started varsity as a freshman in soccer, starting out. A pretty new program at the school I was at, very small, so they didn't start really until about 4 years before I got there. So it was a fairly new program. But I had traveled and played all over the place. I was playing in Texas, where it was very competitive down there. So when we ended up moving up to Missouri finally.
So how old were you when you guys came back to Missouri?
I was starting 7th grade.
Okay, so you moved around a lot when you were like in school.
Yep.
What was that like for you, changing environments? Because I had a similar experience growing up.
Yeah, me and my wife talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
She likes to pick and pry and be like, oh, where's your childhood trauma come from? Stuff like that. And
What does she do for a living?
she's a dietitian.
Okay.
So she works primarily with eating disorders. She works for a company called Equip. So they work all around the nation with the various eating disorders.
There's some psychology in there.
Definitely. Yeah. I think, I don't know if she'll like me saying this, but most of the time it kind of seems like she's more of a therapist than a dietitian, just having to talk through those problems that, different traumas that stem these different eating disorders. So it's really cool, honestly.
Yeah.
She's kind of plays different roles. So she's a therapist and a dietitian, and kind of plays the HR role sometimes every once in a while. So yeah, super cool.
But you were saying she's kind of picking at your...
Yeah. Picking into my childhood a little bit, just moving around a ton. As a kid, it wasn't super easy just moving around, because 2 or 3 years goes by, my dad gets a new set of orders. It's like, hey, we're moving to this place now.
And it's not just like across town either.
No, it's like you're moving cross country. And sometimes, in my case, it wasn't like this, but other of my buddies whose dads were in the military, they were going overseas. So they were going to like Japan, Europe, all these different parts.
What a wild
of the
experience.
world. Yeah. So I guess I had it easier. I still, close enough to, if I wanted to go back to the States, I could see buddies every once in a while. But yeah, every 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 years, my dad got extended somewhere. We just pack up, move to the next place. But looking back at it, I'm super grateful, because I've met a ton of people along the way. And it seems like anytime I do a road trip, when I joined the Marine Corps and I traveled from coast to coast, it's like I call up a buddy and be like, hey, I'm passing through your town. You care if I crash at your place for a little bit?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, absolutely. And we catch up and pick
That's
up
cool.
where we left off from elementary school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's super cool, man. So you were playing sports into high school, and that's when you started getting really serious with like soccer.
Yep. College soccer was never really on my radar.
Okay.
I played all through high school and I loved it. It was one of my favorite sports, but I always felt like I was more prepped to play college basketball. It's just more competitive.
What position?
I played point guard mostly, and then I played shooting guard as well my senior year. Yeah, I was all-state basketball player in high school, so I just kind of felt naturally like, oh, maybe I should, see where this takes me and play. And when I got my scholarship to University of St. Mary out in Kansas, the World Cup was that summer, and I just had that itch to play again. And I was like, I feel like I could be competitive and try this. And I reached out to the coach and said, hey, do you guys have walk-on tryouts or anything? And I hadn't heard from him until orientation, like day one of school. And he picked me out of the crowd, just like snagged me and was like, hey, come to practice today. And I showed up in practice and he was like, you're on the team, you have a spot. And the crazy thing is I actually played more soccer at that school than I did basketball.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how'd that work out then?
I played behind the shooting guard for our team at University of St. Mary. He set the all-time scoring record for the state of Kansas of all colleges across the state.
Okay.
He was insanely good.
Yeah, and that's saying a lot with KU and K-State and other big schools.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he scored over like 3,500 points in his college career. So I kind of took the back burner and, I kind of was just like role player, like put me in whenever you need me. Yeah. So on the soccer team, I had a more opportunity just to get in there and give it my all, and coach saw that and let me play quite a bit. So,
love it.
Yeah.
Very, very cool, man. And obviously, like, having that experience and the opportunity to do two sports at that level, like, what did that teach you? What did you take away from how to balance that? What did you learn from that? Like, that's a big load. Going and playing one sport in college, let alone two.
Yeah, really just learning to balance everything. Like, as far as like relationships, family. Essentially, as soon as I stepped foot on campus in the summer for preseason workouts, it's like, I'm in this until the spring. There's really nothing else. I won't get a break, essentially. Yeah. So really just learning to balance, the soccer season. And then when it's like, hey, we have basketball workouts, like, I know you are a soccer athlete, but we expect you to kind of be at some of these like open gyms and stuff. So it's like I go to practice, and maybe on the weekend I go get some shots up, but really not until the soccer season was completely over was transition right into basketball and just having to switch gears completely. Yeah. And know my role too. Yeah. I started quite a few games on the soccer team, but basketball is a different story. I was on the bench, and it's just like, call me when you need me. Yeah. So yeah, just really trying to differentiate the two when the season started.
Yeah. Well, like you said, being able to understand how to shift in the mindset of what your role was on the team probably was a little bit psychologically challenging
Big time. And just like two completely different coaching styles as
well.
Yeah,
that's a big piece too.
Coach. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and imagine just those two sports in general are very different.
Very different.
So like the personalities you get are probably night and day as well.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, soccer's definitely a more diverse sport. We had guys from Kenya on our team, had guys from England on our team, a few Brazilians as well. Yeah. So like just having those different cultures where everyone on the basketball team was essentially just, inner city basketball players that were all coming and just be competitive and different culture.
Night and day different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at what point did you kind of recognize that you were like wanting to get on the coaching side of things?
Yeah, so, I guess I'll start with like my fitness journey in general, which kind of takes me back to high school. I did not take weights seriously in high school at all.
When did you start lifting?
Not until the summer after my senior year, more seriously. Okay. Going into my senior year of basketball, I kind of took up more of like getting serious, and I took weights in the morning, and I'd take that seriously going into the season. But every year before that, I was just like, I don't really see the point in this. Like, I'll get more of my skill work on basketball practice, and I just don't see the transfer between the two. Until my best friend in high school, which I didn't meet him until really my senior year, he was this jacked 15-year-old when he showed up to our school. And he looked like Bane from Batman, like the Dark Knight. Just unreal. Yeah. And we didn't really start hanging out until my senior year, and he had a whole gym in his basement. So he was like, hey, man, let's hang out this summer. Like,
lift some weights.
Let's have some fun before
we go off protein shakes.
Yeah, exactly. And he introduced me to creatine as well.
Okay.
The whole stigma back then was like, oh, it's such a bad thing. After that, I put on like probably 15 pounds that summer going in, because I remember going to an open gym after my senior basketball season at St. Mary, and those guys were tossing me around. Like, I did not stand a chance really playing with those guys. So I put on a bunch of, mostly for the most part, lean tissue going into my freshman year of basketball, and completely changed the game. Okay. And from there, I just really fell in love with the process. Yeah. So anytime we had like preseason workouts or postseason workouts, we'd have open gyms and then go right into some like vigorous workout. I really loved that. And I would say towards the end of my college career, I think I loved lifting more than I did playing the actual sport.
Same.
Yeah, training for it. Especially, you know, when you are kind of riding the bench a little bit more than you wanted to. It's just like, all right, well, this is what I can control. I can get in the gym and
I can get after it.
yeah, I can get after it.
Yep.
So from there, you know, I really looked at it as I could bring this to younger athletes that are trying to make this level or play higher than I did.
Yeah.
Which I really love that coaching aspect of really getting to mentor kids of that age.
Yeah.
Or coming up in that aspect.
When did the military stuff come in?
Yeah, so I transferred to Missouri Western after playing at St. Mary.
Okay.
I walked on, didn't really play all that much there either. I really went there to really focus on my academics, and they had a kinesiology program that St. Mary did not have.
Gotcha.
So I really got to get involved in internships and work with the strength coach there and working with pretty much every athletic program you could think of: baseball, softball, basketball. They had a women's soccer team there, so that really like drove my coaching spirit as well.
Yeah.
And the military was also not on my radar at all.
Okay.
You know,
Even though growing up in the military.
Yeah, so my dad deployed to Fallujah twice as
wow.
a kid, so that was like heartbreaking for us. He had to leave and was gone for...
And that was not exactly like a short and low intensity stint of battle. Yeah.
So, and he worked in the medical service corps in the Navy, so he ran all the morgues over there. So
oh wow.
Yeah, he saw all sorts of stuff when, you know, bodies were coming through the morgue and stuff like that. So that was kind of like a memory for me where I was like, I don't really want to go through that.
I don't blame you.
That's even though when I was in it's mostly peacetime, but I didn't realize that when the military was kind of rocking around in my head at that time. But I came home from spring break my sophomore year of college, and the recruiter was at my house because my brother had just gone to OCS.
Gotcha.
My sister had just enlisted previous to that. And I was talking to my dad, and I was like, I don't really know what I'll do with my kinesiology degree. Like, you know, the options are like, let's go be a strength conditioning coach, maybe go on to physical therapy school later on.
Yeah, it's a foundation to continuing education for most places. Yeah.
Yeah. And my dad saw that as like, you could do this. There's so many benefits afterwards. It would pay for school if you did want to go to physical therapy, and there's just a ton of perks. And I was still kind of hesitant, like, I don't know, it's not really my thing. And I showed up, and the recruiter was in his dress blues at my house at our dinner table, and him and my dad were just shooting it together, just having a blast talking about old memories and stuff. And he sat me down. I was like, here's how this is going to work. Like, if this is something you want to do. I did a pretty interesting program called the Platoon Leaders Course. So I went the summer after my sophomore year, and then an additional 6 weeks the summer after my junior year. And then when I graduate college, I would commission as an officer. So he basically broke down. I was like, hey, if you go this first 6 weeks and you hate it, it's not what you want to do, don't worry about it. Like, you can move on with your life and do your thing.
Yeah.
I went that first 6 weeks, and I loved it. Like,
what'd you love about it?
Really the camaraderie aspect. So like, I miss the team environment from playing sports. So then when you get in another group of people that have the same mission, the same goal, it really ends up being a team thing. And there's that camaraderie there that is really unmatched anywhere else.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then from there, that was history. I went right after college. I did another internship in Georgia, working with Georgia Southern, some of their athletic programs.
Okay.
Because that was like my last graduation requirement. And once that hit, it was like sign papers and you're off to officer candidate school or officer training school at that point at Quantico. So yeah.
What an experience.
Man. Yeah. Pretty wild timeline.
How do you measure like intense off-season sports performance conditioning from college at a high level to boot camp and military training?
Oh man, it's different.
I know it's different.
Yeah.
From like an intensity standpoint, I've always been curious how some of the really difficult stuff that we did in college measured up to some of the things that you know that people are doing in the military.
I would say overall intensity, like of the actual work output in the moment, is pretty similar to what you're doing. You know, very high intensity, getting your heart rate up, little rest periods. But the thing with boot camp or like officer candidate school is you don't get the sleep like you would in the recovery you would with the off season, because most colleges at least, like, hey, you have a dietitian on staff, or you have this whole staff that's there to help you promote recovery, where they do want you to recover at officer candidate school because they are investing to send you to training there and, you know, make it through. But at the same time, like, you're running off of fumes, you're running off of 4 hours of sleep, you have about 10 to 20 minutes to eat your food every meal. So you're getting there just trying to pack calories, and just because you're constantly moving all day, every day, you're probably burning 4,000 to 6,000 calories a day. And you're trying to, you know, not be in such a deficit where you can't recover.
So, just I imagine the psychological differences too of like, I'm preparing for war versus sport. Yeah.
And at the officer level, it's completely different because they're training you to lead other people into a potential combat environment as well. And that's something that I would say is, like, if you're not meeting the standard at officer candidate schools, you have enlisted drill instructors, and like, you're not going to lead me if this is how you're performing or something like that. So there's a lot more to think about in that aspect for sure.
I think that's so good though, man. Like, and so beneficial to every other aspect of what that translations into as life, as civilian life after your time in the military, because your standards are just set so high that you doing the bare minimum is still way above and beyond what everybody else is probably considered like average.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse because you're always kind of looking for that next thing that you can go after. So for me, like, we can talk about my other transition after the military as well. Is like, I left the Marine Corps, which was kind of like the cliche thing to do after the Marine Corps was do something that's also tactical. So I went into law enforcement after that, and wasn't really what I loved, and wanted to do something within the realm of kinesiology when I was done, because I really loved the performance aspect in any realm of life.
Yeah, so whether it's like military or
military, law enforcement,
or
or athletes, stuff like that. And then from there, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go get a graduate program, like get a master's degree out of this. That's the next milestone. And I also maybe have aspirations of getting a PhD, so that'll be the next thing that I look forward to. It's just like, but I have these standards, like, I don't want to fail at these things. Like, the Marine Corps prepped me for that. It's just like, make a plan and execute it.
So what is the ultimate goal? Because I know that you are going back to finish or continue towards your master's at KU this fall.
So I started University of North Texas. Me and my wife moved back here back in December. Had to take a gap this semester. It was just hard to transition into another grad school program. I'll be picking up at KU in the fall.
Okay.
So, and then my graduation will probably be in the spring of 27.
It's quick.
Yeah.
But you already had some time.
Yeah, so all my credits transferred over. Cool. So and then the goal from there, if it's something I enjoy doing, I really like the academia, looking into literature and how that research applies to what we do, like, here. Yeah. And, and then I can contribute to research in the future, possibly, if I do end up getting a PhD.
Yeah, and I think that's always been curious. When I was talking to Brittany about this beforehand, she's like, what is all this education he's doing? Like, what does he want to do with that? And I'm like, I think it's just the next thing. Like, that's kind of what I get from it. It's not so much like, I know exactly what that looks like, but it sounds like that's been your journey. Yeah. It's like, what's the next? What's next? What's next? I've been that way in a lot of ways too, so I can relate to that. Different pathways, obviously, but she's like, what does he want to do with that? I'm like, I think he just wants to keep getting smarter and find ways to keep enhancing his craft. I don't know if there's a whole like big end game. I don't know if is there kind of like a big picture vision, like what would be the ultimate outcome for you?
For the most part, I told myself when I left the military and law enforcement that I would try to give back and bridge the gap between my tactical experience and my fitness career and just, kinesiology background. So my goal would be, if I do end up getting a PhD, is to do research, whether it's with military, law enforcement, and just see how we can make them more resilient physically. Because some of those guys are going into situations that can happen like that, and you have to be prepared for that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you step into that environment. I told you this before. I need to get you connected with Sean Wilkes, who has the Go Further initiative.
Oh yeah. I've seen his stuff. Yeah, he is a beast. Yeah.
The dude's a monster. Yeah. But he very much same mindset. Like, how do we get first responders and people that are in law enforcement and other scenarios to really show up in active duty and vets and manage their wellness from a place of optimizing their health and performance too,
and there's a lot of initiatives lately that's been coming out over the last couple of years, like O2X Performance. They work primarily with the tactical population. They're huge on the East Coast, working with military, fire, and police. Holistic Health and Fitness with the Army. They really truly do take a holistic approach, and they're really prioritizing recovery and sleep and nutrition.
It's crazy to think that these things take so long to come back around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I look back at even what we did in college and some of the things that I've seen just working through people that were getting prepared to, get into the military, and some of the old tests and how they've changed the PT test and just the evolution of it all. It's just kind of wild to think about when you really boil it down. Yeah. Really wild to think about. When you start to look at the coaching side of things and you've transitioned to this, I know you've had an opportunity to work with a lot of different types of people. Everything from younger athletes to different sports to general population to tactical. What's kind of the common theme that you see in regards to how you approach, or is there a difference in how you approach each population of people?
Yeah, I don't really think there's much of a different approach, to be honest. I think stepping back and doing like a needs analysis of whatever population you have. So like if I'm looking at soccer players, they're going to have a much different needs analysis than the clients we get here for the most part that are just general population trying to get overall healthier, right? Like I'm looking at very like quick change of direction with soccer players and explosiveness, and that might not be what we need to implement here. I'd say overall though, the common theme between all of them would be some sort of mentorship or just education, right? Like younger college students, athletes, or like the ROTC kids I worked with, like they really just need a mentor to kind of someone to explain like why this is important to them now. And the same thing I think for general population as well.
100%.
Yeah, because I just think there's an uneducated piece there that people just don't realize how they can get better.
What compounds on what we said about how crazy it is that even at like higher level with the military and sports performance, how it's taken so long for things to come through. Like Gen Pop is going to be even further behind that push and that swing and that education.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, man. I think that some of the best coaches I ever had weren't position coaches in sport. They were usually my strength and conditioning coaches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they just understood like how to be able to communicate the foundation of what this does for me, not just within sport, but for my life. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The mental health side of it, the resilience, the mindset, the ability to show up and be consistent and put in the work and do all the things, you know?
Absolutely.
And I think that we've talked about this a lot with other coaches here, but so many people fail to look at themselves through the lens of an athlete or a performer.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, you have to be athletic. It just doesn't look the same as somebody who's running a marathon or playing a sport or preparing for the military, but like you're an athlete in your own way, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that was a big reason why whenever we first sat down and talked, outside of just the broad diversity of experience you had, what was attractive about having you on the team is just that you take the same mindset that the rest of us do, where it's like, we're going to meet you where you're at and we're going to create a better version of who you are and help give you the tools and resources to get the most out of your physical and mental fitness, you know?
Yep.
When you did stumble across the opportunity here, what do you feel like was unique about this environment and maybe attracted you to it?
I mean, obviously coming from UNT, my goal was to try to get back into like athletics and strength conditioning, and just there wasn't that opportunity out here.
It's tough to find in the KC area, man.
Yeah, really any university, it's really about like who you know and who you get plugged in with, and I just didn't have those connections here unless I went back to Northwest Missouri, and that just wasn't an option for us. We want to be closer to family. When I looked around, you know, there was really the options of like big box gyms, and then maybe some other like small boutique fitness gyms that didn't really have the science to back up what they were doing, in my opinion. So really seeing that you guys had this holistic approach, and it really did seem like you guys were training for performance rather than just get in, do these isolation movements, and then we'll get you out. And that was it. Like you guys do have a holistic approach to not only the training, but nutrition. Everyone gets personalized nutrition here. You don't get that at other gyms. Yeah. Really.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing for us is the culture from a coaching standpoint has been very much driven by people who are athletes.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the point you said about like mentorship. Kind of helps to have that just so that you don't have like we don't really have the bodybuilding culture here, and there's nothing against that. No. But from like a function and health and performance standpoint, they're kind of like separate paths.
Yeah, there's a time and place for it
for sure. And it's not that we don't take methodologies from bodybuilding and apply them to our programming.
For sure,
like isolated muscle groups are important to target whenever there's a need for that. But doing body part splits for Gen Pop, especially when they're only making the gym 2 to 4 days a week, is probably not the most efficient thing to do, you know? But no, I think it's been cool to see how quickly you've like settled into the team here. It's always nice to get people that come in and are physically competitive too.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do our monthly fitness test.
I love to see the fitness test. The bike test was like right off the bat.
You're like, welcome to the club.
I went home and told my wife, I was like, I already have to start, getting prepped for this mentally because it's going to be a grinder.
Well, just for context, we do a fitness test every month with our community, and we have our coaches typically do it first. And literally the first month that you came in, it was a 2-mile air bike test, which is honestly... That and the 6-minute row for distance were the two hardest we've done.
Yeah.
The 6-minute row is a grind too.
I'm sure.
I mean, same energy system. Like you're basically moving for the same amount of time, a little bit longer. But you're really taxing out like your short-term anaerobic capacity.
Yeah.
And
I hadn't been training that way when I came in here, so
you're like,
definitely kicked me in the butt. Yeah.
You did good though, man. Like I'm big on practicing what you preach, and it's cool to see you come in and you can see that you've taken the right foundation and taken more of like a smart performance approach.
Yes.
And I think that's another thing I wanted to highlight too. What do you feel like has led you down the path of being really focused on like the movement quality and recovery, and like we talked about the nerdy fitness stuff, like I've got toe socks, I wear toe spacers, like
I'm literally wearing those right now and under my shoes.
You are doing the quote unquote quirky things that are just like what I would consider more higher level focus on detail and movement. Where did that layer in? Because it's not like a stereotypical military mindset. Like most of the guys that I know that came from military are like, they like get after it every time. They don't really recover. They get the hard nose, especially Marine background. It's like, we're going to get after it and let's rest.
When you look at it from like a military standpoint, like their outlet is fitness on top of all the stress they're putting on. So they're going to go out and just go, as hard as they can all the time. And they're not realizing what they're really doing to their nervous system, and
Yeah.
just getting super stressed out on top of what they're doing. So I had my fair share of injuries in the military, and after I had kind of rehabbed those and gotten better, my goal was just like, all right, I'm done going balls to the wall. I'm just going to really train for longevity while also being prepared for whatever life throws at me. So
Yeah.
I think if people look at it in perspective of they have a purpose that they're training for,
Yep.
right? Whether that's, when I'm 80 years old, my purpose is to get up and off the couch every day. I can train that way. If not, like right now, I have a kid on the way in June, and my goal is to really just be in a position to, tackle life with whatever they throw at me. So if I have to pick up my kid in a split second and run 10 meters, I want to be able to do that.
Yep.
So I really train just to be all around, I can train any energy system and train in periodization and just be ready for whatever life throws at me.
I feel like that like hybrid athlete thing is starting to pick up some steam too.
Yeah. Yeah. Big time.
Not just the ability to say like, I can go squat 400 pounds or 300 pounds, whatever is relatively heavy for you and your body style. And then I can go run a couple miles if I need to. I can be powerful and explosive and limber and agile. And I think that it's the true definition of fitness is can you do all the things?
Yeah.
When I think a lot of times, especially if you're someone who isn't really like very educated about fitness holistically, you look at somebody that's like really big and strong and like, man, they're so fit. And like that person probably doesn't move very well when it really comes down to it.
And be huffing and puffing.
Yeah, they may not have the endurance. They look fantastic and they're really strong.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, can they move well if like things hit the fan and you had to be quick and agile and have some endurance?
Yeah, exactly.
And then on the other end of the spectrum where you got people that could run for days, but it's like, well, what happens if you have to like showcase a short burst of strength?
Carry something under load for a long distance.
Yeah. And like these days come up in real life scenarios. We don't want them to, but if we're not prepared for them, it goes back to the thing about the military or law enforcement. It's like the worst feeling in the world is to need your body and not have it available to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the thing that motivates me too. I mean, I have 2 young kids, as you know, and I think it's cool. When I first found out that we were pregnant and having a kid, like it shifted my mindset.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like that's shifted for you?
It really hasn't changed much. Like it's always been in the back of my mind. Like I just want to be healthy enough to be able to do whatever life throws at me. So the moment I found out I had a kid, like, my mindset shifted a little bit to where, I may have to change things around during the day to get in my training and stuff, but that hasn't really quite hit yet. I know it will here in a few months, and I'm trying to mentally prep for it, but I don't think that'll really happen until it happens. So
you can't really prepare for it. I mean, like at least in my experience, everyone's like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "I guess."
Yeah.
I'm ready as I can be.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because you always have someone that's like, wait till you get busy with your career. Like you're not going to have time to work out, or, wait till you get married and, you're going to have to, tend to your wife. You're not going to have time to work out. Thankfully, Sarah is also a really fit individual. So we work out together, and then I get the wait till you have kids. You're not going to have time to work out. It's like, I'm going to find a way. It's going to happen. Yeah.
Well, it's about priorities, man. At the end of the day, if it's important to you, you're going to find a way to make it work.
Yeah. And I want to set that example for my kid too. Like I want them to see me in the gym. We have a garage gym. I want them to want to go down there and watch me lift, or I'll get them a little baby set where they can do some like baby snatches and all that stuff, Yeah,
we've got the kids bench press with the bar.
Yeah.
And we have a dip bar that I use for them to hang on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We've got cones and little balance rocks and things like that. And like working out is like a family affair, you know?
Yeah.
So we move our body, we let go of some of our energy and just kind of learn how to like get our head and our body straight, you know?
Yeah.
But to that point, you said wait until. There's 2 sides to that because time shifts dramatically when you have kids. That was something that I didn't realize. Everybody always said like, wait until this, wait until that. I think at that time I did truly, and you don't know until you experience it, I did truly underestimate how much extra time that I had.
Okay.
But my priorities didn't change.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like the other side of it is like, I don't have as much time, but like that doesn't mean that I'm not going to keep doing those things. They just look different.
Yeah.
But it is wild, man. Kids, I mean, like they fill gaps that you don't realize that you have until you don't have them anymore.
Right.
And I think we've really seen that because the evolution of us trying to build a business and all those things have happened simultaneous to us starting our family.
Yeah.
And you being in school simultaneous to you starting your family. Like when you're juggling lots of things, which as a higher performer and someone who's a go-getter, like you just kind of have to live that way. Because like sitting still just doesn't, I don't sit still very well. I kind of get that vibe from you as well, that you're like, I got to have something to do and I got to be doing it. I got to do this. Yeah. And I imagine the military and sports drilled that into you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like you said, it's a blessing and a curse. You know?
I had a quite a bit of time when I left law enforcement when I started school. And I was just like, I'm going out of my mind. I got to do something.
Yeah.
And my wife felt the same way. She's like, you got to get out of the house and do something.
Yeah,
You're just like getting too
driving
antsy.
me crazy right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because Brittany's I mean, we've obviously been together for a long time, but like we both know, like if one of us is getting a little anxious and we haven't worked out or something, it's crazy what it does for your mental health as much as it does physical.
Yeah.
And the shift for us was really around how do we really partner as a team to make sure it stays a priority.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one of the biggest things is we shifted into parenthood. It originally was like, there are some things that Sarah's going to have to do with a kid that you can't or won't be as good at doing, or you'll have your own roles.
Right.
I felt that way, especially early on. It was like, I kind of felt like I didn't have as much to do. Brittany nursed for a long time. So it was like, I can't feed the baby. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to get anything out of me here, but it's neat how that evolves and changes, and how I've had a chance to kind of like fill in gaps in other roles around the house and other things, you know what I mean?
I'm sure it's just like a whole nother level of teamwork.
It is, yeah.
Take planning and
but you grow
execution.
through it, man.
Yeah.
I saw a quote once that said, like, the woman I married is not the woman I had kids with. And it's 100% true, but if you really embrace that, you guys grow together through it, and it's a really cool experience, man. I think parenthood is, and we're still early, 4 and 2.
Right.
We're still so early in it, but I think the things we've learned is, like, one, when people say it happens fast and time flies, like, it is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
They grow like at rates you can't comprehend.
Can't imagine. Yeah.
And then the other side of it too is, like, as stressful as it is, there's 2 quotes that I really like. One guy said it was 1,000 times harder, but it was 1,000,000 times better.
I love that.
And I was like, that's so accurate because in comparison, yes, it's more difficult, but the moments that you get, they're irreplaceable, man.
Yeah.
Another one is the days go slow, but the years go fast. I think it's the other one.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I also think another big thing is, like, don't wish your days away. Like, live in the moment. Like, I think back on my military days and just being with my buddies and having to put up with so much BS in the military, just the federal oversight, just all the things you have to do. But looking back at it, I'm like, man, I wish I would have cherished those moments a little bit more, because looking back at it, like, I just get a chuckle out of it. It's funny in the moment, or not funny in the moment. It's funny now.
Hindsight, yeah.
I
have a lot of those experiences with football stuff too, you know, and I think that there's the camaraderie piece. I think there's a really strong parallel there.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, there was a lot of things we loved to complain about, but if I could go back, I would love to experience it again. Just to say, like,
I wouldn't take it back.
And I think in a lot of ways, parenthood is the same way.
Yeah.
You know, getting spit up on, or having to change blowout diapers, or having to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning for 2 hours to tend to a crying kid. And it teaches you a lot about yourself, but it's so rewarding, man. I'm excited for you guys. That's super cool.
Yeah, we're excited. It'll be here.
Baby girl, correct?
Baby girl, yeah.
Okay.
In June. So,
there you go.
Yeah, we're ready for it.
Yeah, ready as you can be.
Yeah.
So as you kind of look to this next chapter of your life, what do you think is the thing that you're most focused on now to really prepare yourself for the unknown?
Man, really just regulating stress, I guess. I know when the baby comes, it's going to hit all at once. You know, lack of sleep, trying to prioritize nutrition, finding a way to get a workout in. I think just stress overall, and working out is stress. So we're just, me and Sarah talk about this a lot, is just how are we going to find a way to prioritize stress, not only for ourselves, but also for the relationship, because I'm sure we'll be at each other's throats every once in a while.
Do you guys have family close to be able to have, like, babysitter options?
We do, yep. So
That's
my
nice.
in-laws, her parents are 5 minutes down the street, which is great.
That's fantastic.
My family's all over the place, so they'll make sure they get flights to come.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll have plenty of visitors through the first couple months.
My parents can't wait, and they live in Georgia, so they'll.
So do any of your other siblings have kids then?
So my younger older brother, the pilot that's out in California, he has 2 kids. Camila and Luca, they're the cutest things. Yeah, they're 3 and 1.
Okay.
So they're little rugrats, just causing mayhem, running around.
Yeah, I know how it goes, dude.
They're the best though. They FaceTime me every once in a while, and I don't even think my brother knows that they have his phone, and they'll just call me up.
Yeah.
Start blabbering.
It's amazing, man, how fast they learn, and with the rate of technology growth now.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I think about that a lot. Like, our kids are going to grow up in a world without having known what it was like before AI.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was born in 1990. We didn't, like, the internet wasn't really even a thing then. And it's like, and then I think it like the evolution of technology, and even generations before me, because if you're listening to this and you're older than 35, you're like, oh, you don't even know what you're talking about. But I think it's nuts, man, to really consider that, because I even see our boys interact with technology. You know,
I didn't have my first phone until like my sophomore year of high school.
Same.
It was like a slide up keyboard where I could like type on a.
Yeah,
like,
I had the flip phone, the Net 10. You paid for the card for
yeah,
the minutes. Like I had to get a job to get a
yeah.
phone.
I
Yeah,
actually think I shared a phone with my siblings for a while. It's just
yeah.
like my mom was like, I'm not buying 5 phones.
I don't blame her.
So, yeah, and we didn't have iPhones. Or I feel like now it's just gets younger when kids start getting these phones and they're able to access better than I can.
I'm gonna hold off as long as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. The social media feels like a dangerous slope, and at least keep
Yeah.
them off of that. But I
Yeah.
think as soon as my dad's rule was always like, as soon as you're driving, I need to be able to contact you. Or you need to be able to contact me.
Yeah, for sure.
So who knows? But
Yeah.
thinking about our 4-year-old driving is not
Yeah.
something I'm.
Well, you got some time to plan for it.
We
So
got a good 12 years or
yeah,
so.
yeah, there you go.
Cars might be autonomic by then. Who
Yeah,
knows? We
yeah.
may not even have to go to driver's ed school.
Yeah, Back to the Future thought we were gonna have flying cars in like 2015. So.
I mean, you never know. In 2030, we might be there. Things are moving fast, man.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Just kind of shifting into wrapping things up, I think I am genuinely curious. Like, what do you do when you're not here?
Oh man, all sorts of things. I try to get out and like walking my dog is like my favorite hobby.
Same.
Right? Like our dog is our child right now, so
Yeah.
it's like I'm trying to make her as healthy as possible as well. Get out. If I can do anything outdoors, like that's a huge serotonin boost for me.
You hunt or fish or do anything like that?
I do when I'm back in the Midwest for sure. Like,
Yeah.
when I was out in California, that just wasn't
Not a
my
whole lot
thing.
going on.
Yeah, I mean, you can do some fishing out there for sure.
Yeah.
But I try to fly home and go hunting. My uncle's got some land in north central Missouri, so I'll try
Okay.
to go hunt whenever.
What do you
I
guys
get
hunt?
in. Just deer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to get in like turkey hunting and
We did bird
all
stuff.
of
I
it.
never did like we
Yeah.
would do turkeys, and then like I'm from Western Kansas, so we do like
yeah.
pheasant and quail.
Yep. Yeah.
But a lot of walking, get your steps
Oh,
in.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love going up there. It's like completely open. You can do whatever you want out there. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. I'm into shooting sports as well. So
Yeah.
I've dabbled in like, I don't know if you've heard of the tactical games. Mm-hmm. I've competed that before.
Okay, cool.
Which was a blast.
I bet it
kicked
was
my butt,
fun.
but it was so much fun. I had just kind of transitioned to law enforcement, and like the shooting package we got at the academy was like top notch.
I bet it was
amazing.
badass, yeah.
It was great. So I took that, and when I got back to my first field office, it was like we didn't really do a whole lot of training. So I was like, I want to keep this up and
This
see
skill
if I can
is
test
something
this
that- yeah.
under load and under stress, and it was so much fun. I went to a competition in Austin when I was down in Texas, and
That's awesome.
it was great. So
There's a former CrossFit guy named Jacob Hepner that has
yeah,
a spot
yeah.
around here, and he's a big tactical games
yeah,
guy.
I think he's out in like Baser or something.
Yeah, he's got like a badass little gym compound.
he does it like all day, every day.
Yeah.
It's all over social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Matt Sullivan at Onward Physical Therapy is
Okay.
connected with him, and they've got
Oh, sweet.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's such a small industry,
Yeah.
man.
It's a really cool community too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like there's people that have zero firearms experience and they go try it out and they love it.
Yeah.
They do great at it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
I would imagine I've never really trained the higher level tactical and shooting skills, but I imagine fitness would be the lower or the harder entry point
Yeah.
than the shooting side of things.
Yeah.
But I know there's a lot of skill involved in that too.
There is, yeah.
Yeah.
And it if your heart rate spikes through the roof, it's really hard to control like where your sights are gonna fall and
Yeah,
stuff
and your
like that.
focus.
Yeah. And you're carrying heavy objects pretty much
Yeah.
all the time, like in different positions. You might do a Zercher carry or
Yeah.
a heavy sandbag carry mixed with something high intensity like burpees over a box, and then you got to go right into shooting a target. So really just trying to like regulate your nervous system, get your heart rate down so you can at least get shots on target, because then they deduct points on
Yeah.
what you miss. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Wild, man. Here's a kind of a random question, because the people we work with here may not always be the most directly relatable to the things that you're into. I know we work with a lot of people that come from different backgrounds, but say you're in an environment where you're working with a lot of folks who maybe don't have sports or military backgrounds. Like, how have you built that ability to really connect with and relate to and build rapport with people who maybe aren't from similar backgrounds to
Yeah.
you?
Not that I try to like drive my military training like down their throats, but I think there is a good transfer from some of the things I did. Like, I think strongman training is great for anyone. Not that we need people like deadlifting 1,000 pounds. But
Yeah.
I think like strongman conditioning, where you have to pick up something heavy and carry it a certain distance, drop it, run back to another position to do something else.
Yeah.
I think that transfers really well. And I really just try to get a needs analysis of the person. Like, what are you actually training for? Like, are you training for aesthetics? Like, you may not need that stuff in your life, but for the most part here, we're training for a holistic approach and
Yeah.
to be good at everything.
Yeah.
Training multiple energy systems. And I try to just take that portion and try to apply to them as much as I can, right?
Yeah.
I don't need them doing exactly what I was doing in the military.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
something that would apply to, make their lives a little bit easier.
What about more on like a personal level from that side? What's your approach to trying to connect with people? Because I know you talk about mentorship, right? Like the structural side of it, you have so many different like backgrounds of what you've done for training that I think that part seems pretty organic. But when it comes to really like making a connection, because as we've talked about, and you know, it's hard to really get someone to move the needle on something if you don't have a level of rapport and a relationship built with them.
I really try to understand where they're coming from. Like, what do they do for a living? What's their background? And that typically ends up going like, oh, I played this sport in high school, and I can usually gain rapport that way.
Yeah.
If it's something that's like, hey, I've sat at a desk my whole career for the last 12 years, and I haven't ever stood up really besides walking to my car and going home, I can kind of relate to that too. In law enforcement, I did a lot of surveillance where I'd be in a car for 16 hours a day, cooped up in my car, just watching people.
Yeah.
And that took a huge toll on my body.
I bet it did.
So I can relate in that aspect too. So I just try to find little things here and there that maybe I could pull from my experience.
Common ground.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. Well, very cool. I feel like we touched on most of the different things that felt like it gave people a chance to get to really understand who you are and where you come from. Do you feel like there's anything else we missed on?
I don't think so. I think we could talk for another hour if we wanted to.
You and I could talk for days, man.
Yeah.
But that's a big part of why we brought you on board, because I felt like it was a natural fit, and it's really cool to get a really skilled group of like-minded people together. So I'm excited that you've come on board, and I know we're still early in the journey, but I think a lot of cool things are to come, and I appreciate you coming on and chatting today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was a blast.
Cool. Well, maybe you have to get back on again. We talked about doing coach talks where I just give the mic up to maybe like a couple of other coaches.
Yeah.
So if you have any other topics you want to cover on, or things you want to chat or kind of shoot the shit with the rest of the squad, then let me know. We'll make it happen.
Heck yeah, that'd be good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys. We'll catch you next week.
This episode of the Higher Form podcast is powered by Avexia Health and Performance, your home for smart training, simple nutrition, and real accountability. Built to help you look, feel, and perform your best. Whether you're just getting started or chasing your next level, visit AvexiaKC.com to learn more and start building your higher form today.